EES, which is pronounced EASE, is an acronym for Engineering Equation Solver. The previous section described how to create a plot, and this tutorial is going to talk about some of the ways you can modify the appearance of the plot so that it appears more professional. So we're going to start with the same system of equations that I'm showing here, and we'll create a parametric table that includes, in this case, x, y, and z. And so we're going to parametrically vary the independent variable x and examine its effect on y and z. And we'll make a plot of y and z as a function of x, as we talked about in the last video. So here's our plot, and now if we double click or right click anywhere on the plot, what you'll get is this modify plot dialog. And this dialog allows you to add and adjust grid lines. You can modify the border and the size of the plot. The upper window here shows each of the data series that appear in this plot. So there's two data series that are being plotted. And I can delete one of these series if I press the delete button. If I want to get to the underlying data set that's actually used in the plot, you can extract that to a lookup table by selecting the Get Data button. And this is really handy in situations where you've made a plot at one point and the data used to create the plot has been somehow either overwritten or deleted, but you'd like to get that data back. The characteristics of each data series can be adjusted here, so the line thickness and the color and the symbols and everything like that. The smoothing option allows you to adjust the line passing through the data using either a cubic spline, a polynomial fit, or in some cases you might want to use a moving average. The parameters in the border box allow setting of the upper left corner of the plot and its width and its height. And these can also be changed by just dragging the plot around with the mouse button, but if you set these values here, you're going to make it possible that every plot you make will have the same size and the same position. So here at the bottom of the modify plot dialog, you can see these controls that let you plot data using either a primary or a secondary axis. So x1 and y1 are the primary axes, x2 and y2 are the secondary axes. So here what I could do, for example, is take this data series, and instead of plotting it on the primary y-axis, which is the left y-axis, if I select y2, I'll plot them on the secondary y-axis, right? So now I have two different y-axes for these two different plots. And I can do the same thing for the x-axis. I can have a secondary x-axis, which would be at the top. Now the controls here at the bottom right allow the x and y axes to exchange positions, and you can also set the background color of the plot rectangle. So by default the plot rectangle is white, but you can bring up this color palette that lets you change it to any background color. The automatic update option in this modify plot dialog is really useful. It causes the data series to be replotted each time the data source changes. So in this case, if the data in my parametric table changed because I reran the parametric study, then the plot would change as well. And this is really useful if you're adjusting parameters in a model and you want to immediately and graphically see how that affects some kind of a result. Once the automatic update option is selected, you can see this data button becomes live. And if I press the data button, I can go in here and actually select what range of data I want plotted on this plot. So I can select a subset of the rows and just plot those. Or if I want to plot every single row, I would check the all rows in table box right here. And that's actually really useful as well, because if I change the number of rows in the table for some reason, if I have this checked, it will always plot every single row in the table. So here we could change one of the coefficients in the equations and then resolve the table. And if I go back to the plot, now you'll see that it's been automatically updated to reflect these new results that I got with this new coefficient. The plot toolbar should be visible in the plot window. If it's not, then select the show toolbar from the plots menu, and there's a bunch of useful tools on this plot toolbar. The text tool is probably the one you'll use the most, and that opens this format text dialog. And so here you can type in text to annotate your plot, just like I've shown here. And if you want to make a legend, then it lets you assign whatever symbols you've used to plot data to different words that you would put in using this text toolbar. So that lets you construct a legend for each of your different data series. There's a bunch of other useful tools here in the plot toolbar. The line tool lets you draw lines. If you hold the shift key down while you're doing that, then you're constrained to horizontal, vertical, or 45 degrees. The polyline tool allows you to draw a series of connected lines. The square and the circle and the polygon tool allows you to draw those shapes. If you hold the shift key down while you're drawing these objects, then it will force them to have a constant aspect ratio. So you'll get, for example, a round circle. And I should note that the polygon tool is only available in the professional version of Ease. The alignment tool here, it becomes active when multiple objects are selected. And this is really handy if you want to put them in a neat row or in a neat column. So here I can take these items and align them so that they're aligned horizontally and spaced equally in the vertical direction. The alignment tool is also activated when the X or the Y-axis label is selected. And in this case, you can use it to move the label to center the axis. Text and graphic items in the plot window can be moved with the arrow keys. So if you press the arrow key the first time, the selected item moves just a few pixels. But if you hold it down, then it starts to move more quickly, so you can get it to where you want it to go. And then when you release it and press it again, it moves just a couple pixels this time, so you can have some fine control at the end of where you want to put it. So this tutorial describes some of the basic ways that you can modify your plot to make it look professional. And in the next tutorial, we're going to talk about some additional features of plots. This is one of a series of tutorials meant to describe the operation of the Ease software. If you want more information about Ease, or you want to obtain the software or access more of these tutorials, please go to fchart.com. These tutorials are excerpted from the book Mastering Ease, which can also be obtained at the Fchart website.